All right, man. Well, what's up, Khalil?
What's up, man? What's up? Looks like we got an update on the
Yeah, dude,
last
I'm pretty
episode.
excited about it. So we reached out to this guy, and lo and behold, he watched our episode and he liked it. So that's pretty cool. Um, and
Yeah.
yeah, so he uh, he was like, "Hey, um, wanted to let you guys know that I got back together with my girlfriend. What do you think about that, man?" He's like, I mean, he's 18 years old. She's 18 years old. And I found out they live in England. So that
Yeah.
makes a lot more sense that she's out drunk at 18 because you can do that in England at 18. So that makes a lot more sense. And why
Right.
he was saying she couldn't find a taxi versus an Uber, right? So
Right.
some of
Right.
those things were like red flags for me, but now that I know where he's from, they're no longer red flags. So
Yeah. Well, based off of what he was saying, it definitely sounded like she was very apologetic and she apologized and everything like that, and she was practically begging for a second chance. And I did like that he did mention that she's on. He did take her back, but he did mention about the fact that she's on very thin
very
ice. I thought that was very
thin
funny.
ice.
Yeah, that was funny. I like that part.
He like asserted
Um,
some some ground rules with that one. I think it's like
oh yeah, for
because she
sure.
was she knew she did wrong, and hopefully she doesn't see that episode because that might ruin their relationship. Because in the end she was if it was like
Hopefully, does she doesn't read the comment section? Oh
oh
my,
right, I mean if it was
yeah,
a am I an asshole versus relationship advice, and it was actually kind of running that way because people are like forget her, you know. And so
yeah,
good for him. I mean, like he's the only one that knows truly what the relationship is, him and her. We're just all bystanders. And he took her back, thin ice. Um, I don't know. Well, here's the thing. I don't know what I would have done because he didn't break up with her. He didn't want to break up with her. She's the one that was like, it's over. But she drunk. She did while she was hammered.
right,
So, that I don't know if I would. That's such a tough one. So hey, good for him.
yeah,
Hopefully, it all works out. That's all we can say.
yeah. He mentioned the fact that he believes in second chances, and
But not thirds. He even wrote
everybody
that.
deserves a second
Not
chance. I
third
guess.
chances,
Yeah,
second
not
chances. But
thirds.
nope,
Right.
that's it. That's it. So
Yeah, so hopefully, he just learns from this situations, gains perspective, and doesn't let something like this happen again. Which it sounds like he's learned of in this situation. So
yeah,
hopefully it goes well after that. Good luck to you, brother.
yep. Good luck, man. And appreciate it. Really appreciate the update. Love it. Thank you for subscribing. You're our third subscriber. But no, I'm happy rooting for them. Hopefully, they give us another update in a couple months, and we can come back and do another post. And then
Yeah,
I'd love to have them on the show, but you know how it is. Reddit's anonymous, so we'll keep it that way as long as our
yeah,
people want them to be anonymous. Hey, man. So good things, man. So we read this article that you found, and we sent it over to Steve, and Steve's going to join us here. Let's go ahead and bring him in. Hold on one second. Let's get him in here. Steve fucking Chang, dude. Did I can't hear you, and I think I spelled your last name wrong.
Hey, Steve fucking change.
It did. He changed. Steve changed his last name. He's no longer Steve fucking Chang. He's Steve Ching. So
That's
right
great.
now, so awesome. Hey, who's our editor here? Like, what happened here, man? Somebody wasn't paying attention. Somebody's fired. So there you go,
uh
buddy. There, I fixed it for you. Um, wait, welcome back, dude. I haven't seen you since you destroyed Khalil in a Reddit episode for "Am I an Asshole?"
I don't know about destroyed. That was that I. I'm surprised I came out on top on that one at the end. To be
Yeah.
honest.
Well,
you're a good debater. You did well. You did very well.
yeah,
Thank
you
you,
got
sir.
you got Khalil to agree with you, so you got those bonus points. If he
Yeah,
if he didn't agree with you, I think he had you. But then you got him a couple times there, and he's like, "Oh fuck, I didn't mean to say that shit." I gotta say that in my head, not out loud. I mean, I know
Dope.
it, and that's the tough part, right? Like and that's I think what's so fun about that is that you with a coin flip, you can get the wrong side, and you're just like crap. You know that you want to be on the other side. You agree with the other side, but you got to do everything you can to be like, no, this side is right.
Yep.
So, pretty
Yeah.
exciting, fun to watch, fun to ref. But anyways, man. So Steve, you haven't gotten a chance to read this one yet. So I guess we'll just kind of talk about.
Cool.
So you got this girl. She's in her 30s now, and this is when she was, as she says, young and more vocal. And so she was working for an Italian restaurant, I think, right, Khalil, Italian restaurant, and we have it down here and below. So if I get something wrong, you guys can kind of get after me. But so she was in it. She worked in an Italian restaurant. And they got a new boss that came in that was hired, and so the new boss is kind of chauvinistic, really doesn't like women in the workforce, it seems like, and kind of puts them down. So he came at her one time and wrote her up for, instead of, it never gave her any warnings or anything like that, according to what she wrote, but wrote her up for a dress code violation. And the dress code, and she admitted, she was like, yeah, I was not in code. So the dress code says that if they have belt loops on their pants, they must have a belt. And so, but some pants on, some women's pants, they look just fine without, belts on them. They're made to look,
Yeah.
Certain ways. So I get it. I mean, I don't have an ass, so if I don't wear belts, my pants are going to fall down. So I have to wear a belt. But it was just an interesting read. So she gets written up and she's like pissed, right? And this is like when she's young and got like, full of fire. And she's like, you know what? Screw this. She goes and she cuts the belt loops off her pants and wears them back in the next day. And her boss is like, hey, I told you, you have to wear a belt when you have belt loops. And she goes, what fucking loops? And and so she's like, yeah. And then I guess like this guy, another time, so I don't know if you ever worked in the serving industry, but like some of the lockers for like the food lockers and stuff like that, if they have the big metal doors or the sliding door, like the big ones, they can kind of be heavy and they stick because they get kind of just worn out and stuff. And so she had to use some, like, as she said, like some elbow grease to really like, close or open one of these doors. And he got mad because he's like, you slamming this, and he got all mad at her. And she's like, you have to, like, it doesn't, I don't get what he's coming at me for, because it doesn't, if you don't want me slamming this stuff, get stuff that works better, And so she, yeah, I don't know, man. What do you think, Khalil? You
She
think
got written up for that too. It's ridiculous. Like, who does that?
Yep.
You slammed the door too hard, I'm gonna write you up.
Yep.
That's
it's right there,
like,
too
this
hard.
This guy's reaching.
She said you had to put some muscle in to open it. And so here it is, right? So he fired another lady who was pregnant. Oh, this is a good one, right?
Oh,
So for asking
bad
if she can be put in a section that was closer to the kitchen. So all she did was just ask to be put in a different section so she didn't have to walk as far. She was pregnant, right? And so I'm like, yeah, no problem, right? Accommodate that. Last thing you want is
sense.
something to happen to her where she gets hurt because she has to keep going all the way through everybody. Now you got a workman's comp thing, accommodate. And so he got her, he fired her. And then there was a lawsuit and they lost, right? Well, here's my thing.
Yeah. Oh no, she won.
The
lawsuit.
The lady won the lawsuit, so he lost,
yeah.
right? And so, which means the
Yeah.
company lost the lawsuit because the company's issue.
Honestly, that guy should have been fired right then and there.
Yeah, but so
He just lost the company money for no reason over something that didn't even need to happen. That's ridiculous.
yeah. So here's my question, Steve. You walking in, you walk into your workspace. Not your new one, but we're talking about like when we were like in our 20s, right? And your boss says something to you like that. Would you come at your boss like the next day like that, or would you have like just kind of like, you know, just kind of put in a box somewhere and be like, you know what, I'm just gonna let this go. Oh, we lost Steve.
Oh, I should
There he
be
is.
back.
Do we
He's
lose him?
back.
Oh, there he
This
is.
thing's eating through my battery. No, I think it depends. Being in that mind frame, I was rebellious for quite a while. I've always been kind of like anti-authority, but somehow I've always ended up being like team captain or manager or leader at work. So for the most part, I probably wouldn't do it. Coming from fire department and doing other things that are a lot more rigid, you don't really backtalk like that. You want to
No.
not have somewhere to work. You can make fun little comments, and you can do it and not make money.
Yeah.
So I stayed away from a lot of that. But at the same time, if it was a job that I didn't care about, that was like second or third job, because I did a bunch of that, go ahead and give me shit, Mr. Manager Guy, and see what happens. I really don't care. I'm going to keep
Yeah.
doing what I want to do. So, I could see both sides of it, where like he's just trying to hold down the fort, and maybe he's a bit frustrated and handling it completely inappropriately. But that's a whole nother story. Like I'm, in that age, I've kind of been in both shoes where like, there's no way I'm going to talk back to my fire captain that way. But at the same time, if it's fast food or something like that, I may not be as nice.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm kind of more in the lines with her. So, um, I guess I'm never going to be a managerial position or anything like that, but I do push back. I push back because for me, if I see kind of an injustice, I kind of say something about it, and I just don't care, right? So, but I have a luxury of having, a job where that's okay to do. You can kind of push back. I'm not being insubordinate. I'm not, I'm doing my job, but at the same point, I'm asking them to explain their position or explain why, and put them on the spot a little bit about it. And I think that's kind of the employees section, right? That's kind of what the employees should do. They shouldn't just blindly lead or follow, but ask questions and whatnot. But she straight up cut her belt loops off. I don't think I'd cut my belt loops off, man. Now, I mean, you're out belt loops. What if you all of a sudden
Yeah,
have like this like thing that I have, and you catch this no acetol disease, and now you need a belt for your pants? I mean, or you go in and you like maybe she's heavy set, and then she like goes and like hits the weights and gym and cardio, and now her pants don't fit, and now she can't.
gotta buy
Now
all
you got
new
to buy all new
pants.
stuff where she could have just thrown on a belt and waited a little bit as she was going through her. It's I don't know if I would have like just destroyed my pants. I don't know.
Yeah, like here's my thing. I don't think that the guy was wrong in telling her to wear a belt. Like, okay, if it's part of the dress code, I completely get it. That's the rules. Do what you got to do. But I think that the way he went about it was ridiculous. Like, I believe in like a nice fair warning. Hey, tomorrow you should wear a belt with, if you're going to wear those type of pants with loops in it, you got to wear a belt. You should get one warning, and then from there, if you're just not doing it and just being completely rebellious, then you might want to get, maybe you want to write somebody up for that. But just right off the bat, just write her up, like that's crazy. I
Well,
and
it
I
sounds
do I
like he
feel
has a
like that's
pattern
bad
for this,
managing.
though.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
yeah, I think so too. I think
Maybe he really is misogynistic. Maybe he really does hate women in the workforce or whatever.
yeah. You never know. You never know. So,
That's what
This
she
actually
said.
reminds me of
So
a funny story. I worked for an ambulance company once upon a time, and my hair was getting a little bit long, and just not crazy long. Like my hair is crazy long now, and this was just maybe a few inches, but it was maybe a little messier than they wanted it to be. So I
yeah.
remember the owner of the company walked down, and his name was Walt, and he comes down, and he's like, "Steve, you need to cut your hair." All right, you got it, Walt. I'll see you tomorrow. I cut my hair into a mohawk, and I came back. Technically, that was still within
oh
dress
wow.
code. They wanted
Right.
it to be only so long, so it was like,
Yep.
okay, fine. You didn't say how like that
And,
may
and
be,
then
as long as it's
and then
not
they're
too
going to be.
extreme.
See, then you could do like the pregnant thing. So it'd be like, oh man, so what you're doing is you're being discriminatory for my male pattern baldness.
Mm.
It just happens to be a mohawk shape.
So I guess I can be a little bit more on her side with it, where
Yeah.
push back
Yeah.
on the.
Hell yeah.
If you're going to be ridiculous and be minuscule and waste time, I can play that game too.
And you know what? She's got to have a
Yeah,
heck of a sense of humor for that. That takes
That's pretty
that's a
funny though.
funny
for sure.
that's pretty funny. Like that's if this guy took that the wrong way. If that was my employee, I probably would have laughed.
So
I'm
wait,
like,
is
touche.
the question on this one, is she the asshole for doing that? Or
No,
is he
no,
the
this is
asshole for
just
being that way?
this is just a malicious compliance. So she just basically got in trouble for complying, and then it's just stupid, right? Like
That's
who
ridiculous.
just and I agree with what she said. If you're a leader, talk to your employee.
Yeah,
Give
it's about
give them like
approach.
yeah. That's like
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like it's way
That I can just
overkill.
imagine him like in front of everybody in the kitchen admonishing her, right? Just putting her down and trying to like build some authority or have some power right in the moment. I could
I
totally
mean,
imagine that situation where he's just being a complete asshole and it just fires her up. Like, I don't blame her.
yeah. Well, maybe he just has like a Gordon Ramsay complex or something. You're not Gordon Ramsay. You can't do that. Like
Maybe
you
it
just
was.
you're right. If it was Gordon Ramsay, then I'm gonna be like, maybe you should have put on a belt. Just, I don't know. Or is less at least that you got was a write up. I mean, you know, um,
Well, it looks like she found the loophole.
yeah, yeah.
That's for
So are
sure.
you reading some of these? Read some of
Yeah,
those
yeah. I'll read some
comments.
of the comments.
Give us some of those comments. Some of those comments
Well,
are
there
funny.
was
Like that.
Yeah, there was one comment that I saw about where somebody was saying that they were a manager. Oh, here it is, right here. They were a manager in a few different environments, and the criteria for choosing the battle was basically simple. If it's not losing the business money, then let it go. It's not a big deal. It's not hurting your pockets. It's not hurting the business. Why die on this hill? Why create the controversy when you don't really need to?
Yeah,
Which I think is fair.
yeah, that's fair.
Even though it is in the employee rule book, whatever, but just the way you got to choose your battles. Choose your battles. This wasn't necessary
Yep.
at all. It's a belt.
Yeah, yeah.
Nobody's looking at them and saying anything about that.
I love the puns that started going off on here. So you have like Zeus and his beard. He wrote,
Yeah.
had to buckle down and study the handbook to find it. I mean, and then sense too. That's definitely a notch in her belt.
Yeah.
um,
Yes.
that Nimrod, I love that name. Fascinating. It's like they're just on and on and on. That solution was a cinch. I mean, come on, guys.
I like that one.
What was it? At least he didn't suspend her. Like, it's just on and on.
Well, there's a lot of
Yeah.
belt tightening these days.
Yeah, yeah, right. It's
Super
it's
copy
great.
editor.
Yep, yep. Redditors tend to do this pants down. I mean, like it's just on and on. Leather to do her thing and she'll let you do yours. I mean, just I don't know. I love
This is
Reddit.
almost
It's
like Office Space, the buttons.
right. So
Where's
true.
your buttons?
So true. That is so true. Oh man. So we reached out to her and she accepted our connection for comments. So we sent her a DM and we'll send her the link once this is done and processed. So hopefully she can give us an update for our next show.
Oh, that's right.
So, well, it's not really an update, I guess,
Yeah.
just maybe some more insight on the just absolutely asinine boss she had. It would be fun to know like a little bit more about some of these things that were going on over there.
Yeah, I'd
So
like to know more background on it,
Yeah.
honestly. Like this
yeah,
one sounds interesting.
yeah, there wasn't a whole lot of background, but there was like enough to really tease you. You're like, okay, so what happened? Like, I want to know, like, did she quit? Did he get fired? I mean, what? I mean, he should be freaking fired. If he did not get fired after getting that place sued,
I'm surprised she
then
didn't sue him.
it was so true.
Yeah, I'm surprised by that.
Yeah, it's true.
Like they got sued and lost money, and they still kept the guy, and
Yeah.
he's still pulling the same shit that he was doing before. That's come on.
No, dude, I don't know.
Hmm.
I don't know. It's
I
absolutely
mean, I
crazy.
literally just had to go through some of these trainings. That's absolutely harassment.
So, right, right, absolutely. Especially now. So, I mean, this was
Well,
like
she's
a
got to
little
feel
bit
good
back.
doing that though, because I remember going through some of those where like it feels good being the person that. Yeah, I mean, you may become the martyr in some ways there, but it feels good standing up against the wrongdoers or the assholes in the room.
For sure, for sure. Yeah, good for her. So my hat's off to her. If this was "Am I the asshole?" You would not be. He would be, and appreciate the Reddit post. So I'm pretty excited about it. Can't wait to see what we do next and see what we got. We'll see what we find. Steve, thanks for joining us, man.
All right.
Thanks, guys. Good to see you.
All right.
Thanks for joining, Steve. It's
Yeah.
good to have you, brother.
All right, Khalil,
Next
man. I'll talk
time.
to you a little later.